Hello everybody. As promised, because a lot of us are out of work, a lot of us are quarantined because of the coronavirus, I have decided this week to make a bunch of cooking videos for you guys to watch. So today we are going to do a very basic roasted Brussels sprout recipe. It's made with mustard, lemon, and a little bit of minced garlic. You can use fresh. I'm using dried today, but you can use fresh if you prefer. It's a very easy recipe, super easy. So I am going to skip around a little bit. I'm going to pause this because you guys don't need to watch me chop every single Brussels sprout. But I do want to show you guys how to properly kind of chop a Brussels sprout. And I've already cleaned them, so we're going to start with the basics. These are these beautiful purple Brussels sprouts, which cost me a fortune. I misread the sign. I thought it said $2.99 for this pound of Brussels sprouts, which is great, but it didn't. It said $5.99. And so then I figured, you know what, we'll do something exotic. Because the first thing is, all right, this down here, this is where the Brussels sprout attaches. If you've ever seen a Brussels sprout in its original form, it's on kind of, it looks like a stick, and this is where you break them off the stick. So anyway, we want to remove that. That part is very tough and very woody and does not taste good. It has a very bitter taste. So you want to take that off. Okay. The next thing you want to do is you just want to halve your Brussels sprouts, and you can see the majority of the bottom is still here. That's fine. You just kind of want to take the tip off because the tip is, I mean, you can see how brown and dried out it is. That's the part that's not going to taste good. All right, so I'm just going to do a couple of these, and then I'm going to pause the camera. I'm going to go through the rest, and then we'll jump back when I'm done. I'm putting the Brussels sprouts into a pan, which I have lined with parchment paper. I'm just using plain old parchment paper from the Dollar Tree. So it looks like this. And that's all, and I'm going to pause it for a minute, and I'll come right back. All right, guys, I'm back. So I'm done. Here's our beautiful Brussels sprouts, and my oven has come up to temperature. I'm just going to do 350. You don't need to, these are pretty tender. You don't need to really kill them with the heat. And all these gorgeous Brussels sprouts, as you can see, I just put them, you know, just cut them in half. When you find one that's like this, a little tiny one, it'll cook fine. You don't have to cut it in half. So this is a great dish because this is what people should be eating now in the time of the virus, because cruciferous, which means sign of the cross, technically, I don't think it's an exact translation, but these vegetables actually have a cross in them when you cut them the right way, cauliflower and broccoli especially, and the brussel family, whichever one you're more acquainted with, are really good for the biome that exists in your intestinal tract. In other words, all the friendly bacteria in your body that help fight viruses, that help your immune system, they exist in your stomach, and they love these type of vegetables, leafy greens, the brussel family, kale, all that stuff. They love it. So this is a great thing to be eating. All right, so I have these set out on parchment paper. I prefer parchment paper to aluminum foil only because I know that even though aluminum foil is recyclable, I don't think people actually recycle it. Whereas parchment paper, when it goes back into the environment, it actually will break down because it's simply parchment paper. It's not wax paper, it's parchment paper, and it's really just paper. But it's made in a way so that the fibers can stand up to the heat. And I'll show you at the end. At the end, rather than waiting for this to cook, because this is going to take about 30 minutes, maybe take a little bit longer, I always just test and see if they're okay. If they're tender enough but not super mushy. After about 20 minutes, it may take a little longer. I'll take a picture of it for the thumbnail that I use for this video. Okay, so back to what we're going to put on top of these. All right, so I'm starting with 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to add to that, this is minced garlic. I'm just going to add 1/2 teaspoon of minced garlic. I'm gonna add a whole teaspoon of Dijon mustard. This is a really yummy French-style, sugar-free Dijon mustard that I recently found. And come on, get off there. it doesn't want to leave the spoon. Anyway, you can use anyone. It doesn't have to be any particular brand. I just like this brand. All right, and we will be using the juice of 1 lemon. And I cannot remember what this is called, but this has a name, and it's a really funny name. It's a very brutal name. It's very heavy metal. It's like something like a, I can't remember. If anybody remembers, put it in the comments. But it's a really funny name because it sounds super violent. But anyway, we are going to put the juice of 1 lemon into this mixture. Grab your seeds. Come on, get off there, seed. Okay. And if a seed gets in there, don't worry about it. It's not really going to affect, you know, you'll just find it later when you, on your Brussels sprout. It's not going to kill anybody to get a lemon seed. People always get so freaked out about stuff like that. Like, you know, saw this thing on the internet about people sending letters to Panera because they found bay leaf in their soup, and it just cracked me up. It's like, are you kidding me? Anyway, so we're just going to do the juice of 1 lemon. I can't remember the name. This thing is going to drive me crazy because I can't remember the name of this thing. But anyway, so juice of 1 lemon. We're just going to give it a quick whisk. Let's get some more of that mustard down in there. And if you like a sweeter taste, you can skip the lemon and use apple cider vinegar. And if you really like a lot sweeter taste, skip the mustard, skip the garlic, and use just the olive oil and balsamic vinegar, little black pepper, little salt. Pour that over the top, and it tastes phenomenal. All right, so all we're going to do now is we are just going to put this, we're just going to pour this over, this mixture over the top of our Brussels sprouts, and that's it. We're just going to try and get the mixture on as many of the Brussels sprouts, sorry, as I just realized you can't see this, on top of the Brussels sprouts as possible. That's it. And actually, let me get a little more of that out there. I like to use every little bit. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to go over this quickly with just a little sea salt. The reason I want to do that is I just want to get the salt more even than if I put it into the mixture. Like, as you can see, some of the Brussels sprouts have really like a lot of sauce on them. But it's fine, because when you start mixing stuff around, like I said, after about 20 minutes, you want to check this and you want to start mixing stuff around. And then the next thing I'm going to do, okay, let's see if I can put you guys down for a minute. Try and get a good angle there. Is I'm going to cover this with a little bit of parchment paper. And yes, you can cover stuff with parchment paper just like you would if you were using aluminum foil. It's absolutely fine. I have my heat at 350. I'm going to put this in the middle rack for about 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, I am going to take it out. I am going to see how the Brussels sprouts are doing, and then I'm simply going to, here, I'm going to get a shot of these products so you guys can see what I'm using. I'm just going to simply check on the Brussels sprouts, see, you know, see if they're mushy, if they're firm, whatever. And then for the last 10 minutes that I'm going to keep them in, I am going to take that parchment paper off, and I'm going to allow them to brown up, and I'm going to put them on the top rack. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'll take a picture of the thumbnail when I get done so you can see what the finished product looks like. I'll put the recipe down below, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thanks for stopping by.